Almost live. We're live.
We're live.
Hi, everybody. We're here with Leslie Naughton from the Brielle Library. She's the director, and I'm getting ready to do her portrait today because she's being honored. And I don't really get to learn a lot about what she does, and I have questions, and we were talking, and all these questions were popping up, and I said, oh my gosh, this would be really cool to do a live because other people probably have these questions. So, first of all, I want to ask you, how did you end up at the Brielle Library?
So that's an interesting story. I started as a teacher. I was a teacher for 13 years in Bayonne. I taught science. But then I stopped working when my kids were babies. And then I wanted to go back to working. And teaching seemed a little restricting because I was a single parent. And then the library lost 2 directors in a row, one after another, and so I thought that is a dream job, being a librarian, but I didn't really think I had very much of a chance to get the job. But I applied for the job, and I got brought back for the second interview, and then I got the job, and I've been there ever since, 11 years.
11 years. Goes by quick.
Best job you could ever hope to have in the world, really.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
Best job.
So we were talking a little bit. I have like a preteen daughter, and we were talking about, she used to love to read when she was little. All the time there was books coming out her ears.
Foundation's there.
And then all of a sudden she's 12, has a cell phone, and now it's like obsolete. And she doesn't have the interest she used to.
Right.
So you suggest there's like a couple books out there that are authors.
There are great books out there. Part of that is just her age, and I say that to people not to fear, because she has the foundation of a reader, and now she's in school, and they're telling her what to read.
Yeah.
So to come home and then choose something for pleasure on top of all her homework and everything else, it's understandable that she's not reading. But there are some fantastic YA authors and YA series right now, and we had Jennifer Donnelly at the library who wrote a book called Stepsister, which is a new twist on Cinderella. And I know Reese Witherspoon picked up the rights to it, and so if she
really
likes
cool.
it, surely it must be good.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of books out there that they can read. They just get out of the habit of it because, again, they're in school and they read the same thing over and over again, and they want to be able to pick their own books.
Yeah.
So a great teacher will encourage them to pick their own books, a few of their own books. Obviously, they have to read some of the classics. But a great teacher will have a great library in their classroom and send them to the library, which they do at Brielle. Pete DiBenedetto is the librarian at Brielle now, and we work together, which is great. And we can find them books on whatever they're interested in, anything. And they don't have to be hard reads. And you should never worry if they read the same thing over, because it's still reading and it's not laziness. They just love the book. It's like watching a TV show again. It's
awesome.
Okay to read a book again.
Okay, so it's coming.
It's coming. They will get there. They're just inundated.
So my next question is, I don't know how you pick people. Like, how do authors come to your library? I know there's book tours and signings, and
they're on book tour. Most of them are promoting a new book. We work with Booktown in Manasquan. Peter Albertelli lives in Brielle, and he owns Booktown. And we look for authors who would make a nice fit for our audience, but that tends to get broader and broader because we have a bigger and bigger audience. When I started, the library, probably had 20 or 30 people a day, and we average close to 500 people a day now. Through the doors. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. It's gotten bigger and bigger, and people are looking for a lot of things, and one of them is to save money. And a hardcover book costs about the same as an entree at a good restaurant. So do you want to go out to dinner and borrow your book from the library, or do you want to buy your book?
So I've noticed, like, over the years, bookstores were really big, and we see like bookstores kind of like, going to the wayside in the last few years, and you get worried, like, oh, is everybody just going to their tablet? Right. What have you seen? Like,
that was a phase for a while, and the big box bookstores were huge, obviously, and everyone was racing to them and treating them kind of like libraries. There were story times and children's books.
Yeah.
And then the tablet and the Kindle and their phone and their iPad all came into being, but we also find that people miss touching a book. And so bookstores are really starting to come back, especially the smaller ones. People want to walk into the bookstore, they want to feel the cover, they want to feel the book, they want to see if they might like it, and 40% less retention on a tablet. That is the reality. So if you're reading something on a tablet,
Really?
including a textbook, the studies show that you retain 40% less information, mostly for the distraction. You know, you're reading on your tablet, but things are popping up, and you're not as focused on your tablet, you're not as focused on your phone. It's tough on your eyes, and you're just maybe not curled up the way you would be with a book.
So what age bracket would you say are coming back to books?
I would
Is
say
it
it's the
older,
30s
young?
and 40s are starting to really come back to books. Some people love having a whole library on their phone and having it in their purse. And now we find people are doing both. Not only are they doing both, but they're also then downloading the audiobook. So when they're walking on the boardwalk, they're listening to the book at the same time. Then they go home and pick up where they were. And for small children, it's imperative that they're reading a real book. They're sitting in your lap.
Yeah, it's not a
Reading
computer
real book.
screen.
That is the most important thing you can do for your child when they're little. Read to them, read with them. I read the Harry Potter books to my kids. I mean, read with them. Even if it's 15 minutes, and I know we're all tired. Everybody's exhausted. But 15 minutes. We have 15 minutes.
That's true.
You know?
How do you pick the authors that come to the library?
Sometimes we pick them. Sometimes they pick us. But we started with Dan Fagan. He was the very first for Tom's River, which is a nonfiction book. Obviously, we figured it would be pertinent because it's right down the road.
Right.
But then the others we look at our demographic, and but our demographic is very wide. You know, we have everywhere from the 30s all the way up into the 80s, and we have a lot of female authors. It's definitely dominated by the female authors, but I think that's our demographic. We have, you know, Mary Alice Monroe and Fiona Davis, a lot of historical fiction. There's a lot of historical fiction. People are really interested, and believe it or not, World War II is still cooking along, making a great subject matter.
Really?
You think it's done, but it's not. I mean, as Pam Janoff said, there's still more stories to be told. So
Wow.
we look for someone who will fit into the library, and we've had YA authors, and we've had one children's author. Liz Kessler came, and she was fantastic. And Beth Ferry came.
I know Beth.
Beth, right? So she's
I know
come to
Beth.
the library 3 times. She's launched 2 books at the library. And we love local, and we also love bestsellers. And some were not bestsellers when they came and then have become best-selling authors. And like I said, Dan Fagan won the Pulitzer Prize just about 2 weeks after he left the library. So we're proud of
That's
that.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, that's a little bit about the Brielle Library. I thought you guys would like to hear about that because it's a very interesting career that she has. And, you know, sometimes you don't get to ask some question that you always wondered.
So come on into the library. You can ask any question you want. Books are still free. And with a library card, downloads are free.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody has a great day, and I'm going to continue on doing Leslie's portrait with all her books all around her.
All my books.
And I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about the Brielle Library and Leslie's take on everything, and everybody have a Happy New Year.